Hello everyone. I'm Nadine, and in this video, I'll show you how to create your first Node.js program using the WebStorm IDE. Before we create our first program, make sure you have WebStorm installed. Also, it's important to install Node.js before installing WebStorm if you haven't done so already. We covered the Node.js installation process in the previous video. Now, let's move on to installing WebStorm. Open the JetBrains website, as WebStorm is one of JetBrains' products. You'll see WebStorm listed alongside many other JetBrains tools. Before installing WebStorm, I recommend creating a JetBrains account so you can access a free educational license. JetBrains provides free licenses to students and teachers who can verify their academic status using a valid academic email address or supporting documentation. If you're planning to use any JetBrains IDE, including WebStorm, creating a JetBrains account is the first step. If you don't already have an account, click the shopping cart icon at the top of the JetBrains website and select Students, Teachers, and Community. Then click Learn More. Scroll down until you find the Apply Now button. The university email option should already be selected by default. Complete the application form and make sure to provide your academic email address. You can add a personal email as well, but your academic email is required to receive the free license. After submitting the form, JetBrains will send you a verification email. Open the email, verify your account, and sign into your JetBrains account. Once your account is approved, you'll be able to access your educational license. You don't need to activate the license immediately because we'll do that later inside WebStorm. After completing this process, you'll be able to use most JetBrains products for 1 year. The educational license is valid for 1 year and can be renewed annually as long as you remain eligible. Once your account is ready, go to the WebStorm page and click Download. Follow the default installation steps unless you have specific preferences or requirements. After installation is complete, open WebStorm. You should see a screen similar to mine. To activate your license, click the settings icon in the bottom left corner and select Manage Licenses. On the next screen, click Activate New License. Choose the option Get License from JetBrains Account. Sign in with your JetBrains account credentials. If you're already signed in, WebStorm may activate the license automatically. Once that's done, you're ready to start using WebStorm for Node.js development. Now let's create our first project and program. Click the plus sign for New Project. Choose a location for your project and enter a project name. Remember, this folder will contain all the files and programs you create for this project. I'm going to name my project Node.js Program, but you can choose any name you like. Click Create, and your first project will be generated. Next, let's create our first Node.js program. Click on the project folder to select it, then right-click on the folder. You'll see several options for creating new files, including JavaScript files, HTML files, and more. You can choose the JavaScript file option, but I'll create a regular file with a .js extension. Click New File and enter a file name. I'll call mine hello_1.js. Press Enter, and your first JavaScript file is created. As a good practice, try to choose file names that reflect the purpose of the program. For this example, we'll create a simple program just to demonstrate the process of creating and running a Node.js application. Let's start with a basic console.log statement. Console.log, hello world. Now let's run the program. The first time you run a program in WebStorm, right-click anywhere in the editor and select Run hello_1.js or whatever your file name is. WebStorm will execute the program, and you'll see the output displayed in the console at the bottom of the screen. For future runs, you can simply click the green Run button at the top of the IDE. Just make sure the correct run configuration is selected next to the button. If your Node.js program doesn't run correctly, especially if you installed WebStorm before Node.js, you may need to configure the Node interpreter manually. To do this, go to the Run menu and select Edit Configurations. In the configuration window, locate the Node interpreter field. Click the 3 dots next to it and choose Add. Then browse to the location of your node.exe file. On Windows, the default location is often C:\program files /notages /node.exe. Once you've selected the correct path, save the configuration. WebStorm should now be able to execute your Node.js program successfully. Let's try a few more examples. As we learned earlier, some JavaScript features available in browsers are not available in Node.js. For example, if you try to use the window object, you'll get an error saying that window is not defined. The same happens with the document object. If you run code that references document, Node.js will return an error saying document is not defined. This happens because window and document are browser APIs. Node.js is a server-side runtime built on Google's V8 engine, but it does not include browser-specific features. Now let's create a few variables. Let a equals 4. Let b equals 6. Let c equals a plus b. We can print the result using console.log, a plus b equals c. When we run the program, we'll see the result displayed in the console. Next, let's create a function. We define a function using the function keyword, followed by the function name. I'll create a function called sayHello. Inside the function, we'll use console.log to display a greeting message along with a parameter value. To execute the function, simply call it and pass an argument, such as a name. When you run the program, you'll see the function output displayed in the console. At this point, we've learned how to create a Node.js project, create JavaScript files, run programs, and use some basic JavaScript commands. Now let's see how similar JavaScript code can run inside a web browser. Right-click on the project folder, select New, and choose HTML file. I'll name the file hello_world1.html. Notice that WebStorm automatically generates the basic HTML structure for us. Instead of rewriting all the code from scratch, I'll use a slightly modified version of our previous JavaScript example. The key thing to understand is that JavaScript code inside an HTML file must be placed between opening and closing script tags. Everything inside the script tags is JavaScript code that will run in the browser. Another important difference is that instead of using console.log for output, we can use methods such as document.write to display content directly on the web page. Most of the JavaScript code remains the same. Now let's run the HTML file. You can choose any browser installed on your system, or you can use WebStorm's built-in browser preview. When the page opens, you'll see the output displayed on the web page. As you can see, the output is very similar to what we received from our Node.js program. The main difference is where the code runs. The JavaScript code inside the .js file runs in Node.js on the server side, while the JavaScript code inside the HTML file runs in the browser on the client side. That is the fundamental difference between client-side JavaScript and server-side JavaScript. I hope this tutorial helped you understand how to create and run your first program in WebStorm using Node.js. Thanks for watching.